G'day guys, Josh here. Welcome to, well, a landslide build Druid guide for Diablo 4. And if you guys don't know, I haven't written up a full guide yet of this, but I will be writing up a full guide as well in the future. But this is how, I play a Druid, well, level 69 at the moment, as you guys can see here. But this is mainly how I play a Druid at the moment for, all your builds and stuff like that as well. So let's get started with the build in general. So first off, we're going to go to the skill tree. And we're going to go through this bit by bit to get you an idea of how this works. Now, so first of all, what we're going to do is, of course, with the Druid tree altogether. Forgive my hair, by the way. I've just been out in the rain today, which has not been so ideal. So we're going to go through the entire Druid tree overall in a slow and succinct manner to help you guys understand, how the Landslide build works. Now, Landslide build is pretty decentish endgame. I haven't gone past like any high tier 25 to 30s yet, even though 50, 55 is probably high tier. But I reckon this build will play pretty well in those areas, basically, as well. The main thing with Landslide is that it's very positional build. You want to catch as many people in your Landslide as you can, and also keep your Fortify, keep your CC up as well. There are some very, very integral stuff to this build as well, but let's just get started on the basic abilities. So first up, you want to get Earth Spike rank 1. Don't get anything higher than it. Earth Spike's not going to be your main DPS skill. It's going to be your main Spirit Pumper. You get Enhanced Earth Spike for the stun. That's the CC, and also you get a second Earth Spike when hitting a mobilized enemy as well, which just builds up your spirit a bit quicker. Next up, you want to take up a Landslide. So the moment you can take up Landslide, you want to pick it up, and you want to pick up all this as well. You do want to max Landslide as quickly as you can, basically, as well. But obviously, this is an endgame build. You have Landslide maxed up. Now, as you can see, I've got item contribution 4 to it. We'll get to the itemization a bit later in regards to it as well. You want to get Enhanced Landslide and Primal Landslide. The main thing here is that you want to make sure that you get extra crit damage, and also at the same time, it comes up when you immobilize a mob as well, so your next Landslide does more damage. Next up, you get Hardened Wild, and you get 3 out of 3 for Abundance to make your Spirit Pumpers, i.e. your Earth Spike, give more Spirit. And later on the build, you want to put Predatory Instincts to 2%, just in case a mob gets close to you. You have a higher chance to crit either with your shield, which will be coming up shortly. So next up, you get Max Earthen Bulwark. Earthen Bulwark is a very, very big defensive cooldown. As you can see, makes you unstoppable. It absorbs a lot of damage as well. As you can see, 1.4k. You get obviously unstoppable and innate. So innate basically means it blows up after it expires. And also you get 3 out of 3 for Ancestral Fortitude as well. That's also very, very important as well to make sure you got your resists and also take less damage overall. Because overall with this build, you will take a bit of damage. It's possible to take a damage. You can't possibly avoid all of it. So it's very, very essential to make sure you got some protections against that. Next up, you want to get 5 out of 5 wolves, and also you want to get Enhanced Wolf Pack. Don't worry about any of these other ones. They're not really good for you. They're not really good for DPS overall. And also remember with the wolves as well, even though it has the active too much, just be aware at the same time, the wolves are mainly for cannon fodder more than actual DPS, and you'll see that a lot later, especially in the later and higher tier Nightmare dungeons, that the wolves are just there to just soak hits to you, basically. Nature's Reach, basically, as well, is extra damage. 10% to bonus damage for companions. Is this basically like just a meme point? You can put this wherever, to be honest. Like, you don't have to put Call to Wild. You can actually put it back into close enemies crit if you want. But I guess, hey, like with some of these points, you can just mix and match them around. You can even put this point here into Stone Guard as well if you really want to as well. Next up, you got Boulder. You want to max Boulder out. The main reason why you want to max Boulder out is basically Boulder critting is huge. And also, Boulder reaching the end of its path, slowing mobs is huge as well, because it counts as the CC mob, and that makes Landslide do a lot more damage. And given that your build's gonna be a lot around crowd control and stuff like that, it would basically bolster your damage up further. You'll see it clearly later on when you do Landslide, when you see a 20k crit, and then when it's CC, it would be like 110k or 200k, 120k crit, and that's only at level 69. Now, you want to get Safeguard. Either you want to get Stone Guard 2 or Safeguard 2. The main reason for this is it builds Fortify. And Fortify is quite important to build up. So every crit that you do fortifies you for 4 HP. This also stacks with Boulder. So if Boulder crits 10 times, you'll get 40% Fortify. And you want to build this as much as possible for your Legendary set later on. And also for your survivability as well. Next up, we're going to talk about Petrify. So Petrify basically is your ultimate ability. It's the ultimate fuck you button. And you basically want to mash that if you're getting caught in a bad area. Now, at the same time as well, Petrify, you just spam Landslide like no tomorrow, because every time you kill a unit, you get 25 Spirit, which you can just spam Landslide non-stop. So pretty much if you got like a whole champions or whole elites in the area, petrify, and just blast the elites down. You probably get the elites down within probably 1 or 2 landslides. Next up, you're going to get Defiance, which gives you more damage against elites, which really helps you single target bosses down. And also as well, nature magic skills that consume spirit, heal you for 3% HP, which is very important. So Circle of Life is another one that you want to get. And last but not least, at the end of all of this, you want to get Earthen Might. And Earthen Might is very, very good because based on a lucky hit, it either restores all your spirit or causes your critical strikes to be guaranteed crits. And this chance is increased 10% for critical strikes and 10% if the target is stunned, immobilized, knocked back. So it's also key as well that you want to be able to do crit and you want to be able to CC and also during Boulder as well, because Boulder does the knockback as well and Landslide does the immobilize. Now we'll get to Paragon. Paragon is a pretty difficult area to navigate. Sometimes it just basically depends on what you have. That's what I'm going to say. It really does depend on what you have and what is going for you actually. So overall, as you can see in the Paragon starting node, I do pick up these areas here, especially Prime as well. The Prime is definitely one thing you want to get, given the fact that it gives 20% damage and 4% life. Same thing here, you want to get the 8% life, and you want to also keep this as well. It really depends on how you want to play, essentially, as well. So pretty much I put in Human here as well, mainly for the 10% damage reduction, and the fact that every 5 willpower that you have around here, Human gets extra DPS overall. And also they can build up and build up and build up over time. The reason why I put it here is that there's a few willpower nodes that I'll probably get into later, and that will bolster up Human even further. So Human is a strong trait. You want to get Impel as well, because Impel is incredible. As you can see, it gives 20% damage. It also benefits as well. And also you want to get Resolve here as well. Resolve is not that important, given that resistance is not that great. You can actually just dump these two and put it elsewhere around here as well if you really, really want to. But that's really up to you at this stage, because with Resolve, it only gives 10 willpower. That really just bolsters up Human, and that's pretty much it. It's not really a strong, talent, basically. Next up, you want to add the new board. The new board that you want to add is Earthen Destruction. The reason why you want to do Earthen Destruction is it allows you to get this Earthen Devastation thing, which is very, very important as well, as you can see here. 30% increased damage overall. You do want to rush to this one first, basically. You want to rush to get this one. You can get more of these if you want. I'd say for the later dungeons, you will want to get all these damage reduction over time nodes. The main reason why I say that is because basically a lot of the affixes have burning damage at 30% of burning damage as X, Y, and Z. So if you're taking, for example, if you're taking about 20% less, dot overall, instead of being 30%, it's more like 24%, which can be meaning of life and death, and also stacks with all your other damage reductions such as Fortify and Human as well. Now, next up overall, you want to basically jump over here and pick up Earthen Power, which is really, really good as well. It's extra 30% crit damage and 10 willpower. You can also jump over to Slayer as well. The reason why I would jump over to Slayer instead as well is that Slayer gives you armor, and armor is a lot better than resistance. And also can give you 4% potion healer, which is not too much. Now, overall, you do want to just jump up, get the empty glyph spot. I put Earthen Sky into this. Earthen Sky is actually very, very good because you can just basically just jam willpowers into the socket, and then you'll get the 10% extra damage to crowd control. Not to mention as well, anything within its nodes, as you can see here, will get extra percentage. So you can see he gives an extra 15.3% critical damage with Earth Skills from both of these nodes. You can also benefit from these nodes. The main reason why you want to up this one as quickly as you can is because if it upgrades a radius, you can start grabbing this node as well, which is even huge, and you can start grabbing other magic nodes to bolster it up. Last but not least, you want to go through to here, pick up Crushing Earth. You eventually get the stats to build up willpower and stuff like that as well, because you'll pick it up for the various specs, as you can see here. And you can either go to another board, or you can pick up one of these defensive ones. The most ones I'm probably going to do is probably pick up this defensive one here, being Suffered Resilience, and into Slayer. The next board afterwards, you'll probably be looking at the Tentacle build. I'm going to say overall, there's not many stronger build boards in this Paragon area other than Earth's Devastation, so you need to make sure that these are all maxed. But the more boards you have, the more glyphs that you can utilize as well, so be aware of that as well. There are a few other glyphs that people do look at as well, and I believe a lot of the glyphs, it can be Keeper as well. Some people do look at Keeper, but I don't really think that's a great one at all. And I'm trying to figure out the other ones as well. I'm not sure why I haven't got them here. So Basically, I believe it's not Werebear, Werewolf, or Wilds. I think Wilds is also another one that people look at. I don't, you know, like I say right now, don't view it as being something very, very good. And also, last but not least, I don't think I have it in my build actually, not yet. So I'm just trying to get it for you guys quickly as well. So I guess Keeper is pretty decent, as I said before, because it gives you 10% damage, but I think those are the other ones as well. People don't say that, this is a weird one, people don't say that Human isn't that good, but I think Human's a very, very good trait. Like, I think Human's a very, very good one, given the fact that it increases with willpower, basically, as well. Anyways, let's just get back out of the build, and let's get into the Legendaries. So now the big thing is the Legendaries. Be aware that at the moment I'm in transition with Legendaries, so it'll be a bit out of kilter, and you guys will notice that as well. We're out of Legendary, so let's just go into it right away. Now with the Legendaries, as you can see here, I do get the duration of Bulwark is increased by 6%, which is Mending Stone. The reason why I get Mending Stone is that you want your Earthen Bulwark to last as long as it can, and also to keep bolstering up your shield while you're having it, so you want to have a shield up most of the time. Now, I've got cooldown reduction here as well. The main reason for cooldown reduction is to make sure that Bulwark is up most of the time. Now, obviously, I got maximum life and basic attack speed. This allows you to build up spirit a lot quicker. Life allows you to live longer. As you can see here, I put Ruby into my helms as well. I've not put resistant into any of my helms because resistance is not a good stat. As you may have noticed, and may have noticed by various other streamers comparing, you need 1,600% resistance to just give yourself 5% damage reduction, which is really, really, really bad. Okay. Next up is the chest. The chest I usually build up damage on this one as well. So you can see Earth Skill damage and damage. Now also, as well as you can see here, I get the bonus amount to your next Earthen Bulwark for each crowd control up to a maximum 100%. That makes your Bulwark stronger, and also does more absorption, which is huge as well. Now, also, I'm going to say, is that you can put more health on here if you do want to, but as you can see, I put life into the sockets. That's up to you, basically. You need to do a balance of DPS and health at the same time. There's no super meta build, like where you have the perfect stats. You can build them here or there, pretty much. With gloves, make sure you get four ranks of Landslide. This is not best in slot, obviously. You want critical strike damage and critical strike damage with Earth Skills on this. And also, you know, any DPS trait you can get on this as well. It's good that I got 26 all stats as well. You can see the legendary here is the attacking enemies with a Baker skill, increase the next core skill cast as well. This is basically more lining in the build of Landslide. 9% is a very high roll on this as well, so this is good to see. Next up, we got the legs. The legs you can mix with either Vigo barrier, so the Vigo amulet barrier for the immunity for 4 or 5 seconds, or you can put up with a barrier when you damage an elite enemy to get 3.1k. There's a lot higher ones as well. You can also utilize this to put a DPS one if you want as well. But overall, I prefer a bit more defensive sometimes as well, to just keep me alive in some fights as well, not be able to, you know, not get one shot by enemies. Next one, this is actually very, very important, which is when you have Fortify, your Earth Skills gain +2 ranks, which makes Landslide do a lot more damage. Now, a lot of people will be like, hang on, wait a second, you know, your Fortify doesn't build up too quick. It actually means any Fortify. So if you build up one Fortify, your Landslide will be rank 11. So that is huge, okay? So Landslide going up in ranks increases its damage, and more increased damage equals basically you kill enemies very quickly. Now, I do want to say you want to target the 2 max evade charges. The main reason why I say that is that allows you to just dodge and move around a lot quicker than normal, basically. We also got the damage reduction as well. You do want to try to target damage reduction on this piece as well as movement speed. Now, I also got to say here as well, you can see here the legs I've targeted armor, life, and damage reduction as well. You can, if you get any DPS traits on your legs, use them as well. If you get any potion capacity on your legs, you can use that as well. Okay, so they're both very, very, very good pieces. Next up is the weapon. The weapon, you want to imprint Landslide's Earthen Pillars. Each strike a second time deal an additional 18 bonus damage per hit. This basically creates 2 landslides at the cost of 1, and a second landslide doing 18% more damage. Now, the major thing you may notice here is that I've got a damage over time component. You don't want that on your weapon, okay? You want CC, critical strike damage, damage to Earth Skills, any of those sort of things on that, okay? Damage to injured enemies and slowed enemies isn't that great, okay? I would want CC damage, critical strike damage, Earth critical strike damage, and vice versa. Also, lastly, on the weapons, you want Sapphires, because you want critical strike damage to crowd control enemies, because you're going to be CCing a lot of people with this build. Next up, we got the Amulet. The Avian will use second one, which is the Earth Skills deal 59% more crit damage to CC'd enemies. Very self-explanatory. Amulets receive 50% extra of the legendary, so you want to make sure you have this one. It actually doesn't work with this ability, so you may be like, hang on, you got basic skill and core skill cast. It actually doesn't work with it. The maximum is still 30% of it, okay? So that's why I've picked this one over that one. The next one will be the core skills deal up to 20% increased damage based on your amount of Fortify. Now, you guys got to be aware of this as well, is that sometimes it is not that great, okay? So just be aware of that as well. Sometimes this skill is not that great. You can replace this with the, companions give you 8% per companion. The reason why I've gone with this one is that sometimes you won't have both your companions up because they soak too much blows and die. So that's what I've done here. Just to go back to the neck as well, you want to get damage reduction in the neck, and you also want to get seat cooldown reduction as well, and earth skill damage, and also the stone guard passive as well. So you get 2 out of 2 stone guard. You can work any skill as long as it's not anything, obviously skills that you don't pick up. Now you can see here, this is one of the best slots that you can get, or close to the best slots, is at the 23 crit strike damage, 23.8 crit strike damage, and crit chance as well. Now with all the jewelry, you want to put skulls in them because armor is better than everything else you can put it into. And last but not least, but this is the one that you really want to target. This is like a really good ring, okay? Which is the 17.5% damage to CC'd enemies, crit damage, and crit strike. Now with this one as well, so as you can see here, I'm trying to move this one here, the basic to core damage, to the ring. And what you want to put onto the gloves instead is the Quicksand one. So Quicksand is a slow, so any person hit by your earth skill is slowed, and that counts as a CC, and that lets your damage just run riot, basically. So what I'm going to be doing is this will go away, be replaced by this one, the basic core damage, and then the Quicksand one will go onto the hands. So you want basically Quicksand, core damage on this one, and, this one would be the CC one. Okay, but I just, I'm trying to get the salvages and stuff like that at the moment. So that's what's holding me back. As you can see, I'm midway through it all. Now, there's other legendaries that you can pick up as well. So just be aware that there are 11 other legendaries you can pick up that do some damage benefit. There's a few legendaries you can be like, hey, I'll pick this one, or I pick that one instead. But the core ones you need are the Landslide, the 2 ranks with Fortify, the Earth extra critical damage on the CC targets, and also the duration of Earthen Bulwark. If you don't have those builds, it's very difficult to play this build and do a lot of damage on this build, okay? Next up, we're going to go to Spirit Boons. So with the Spirit Boons, basically, you get these Druidic offerings that you can basically offer to the animals, and they give you specific boons. With the deer, you want to get Wariness, which takes 10% less damage. There's not really many other good things in here, so you might as well just pick this one. Now, with the eagle, you want to pick Scythe Talons as your second one, and you want to pick Avian Wrath as your first one, okay? 30% extra crit damage. This is the bread and butter of the build. Now, with the wolf, you want to pick up Energize because it gives you extra spirit. The other ones, as you can see here, not that great, okay? Even the ultimate skill is not that great. I mean, your Petrify lasts for 5 seconds. 25% of this is 1 second, which is not too much. And you can see here, not really much good for a build. Now, also with Snake, you want to get the Calm Before the Storm. The main reason why is that basically allows Petrify's cooldown to go down a bit as well, which is pretty huge in the main scheme of things. Now, anyways, guys, that's going to be pretty much it with the build, as per se, like the basics of it. Now, the main thing is basically how do you utilize your build, basically, as well. Now, we're going to go through a quick, example of, what the main idea is to do with your build, basically, as well. Now, with the build, it's not, the main thing with the build as well, when you go into combat with it overall, is to just remember that you want to get the CC out, you want to get the slows out, and just basically mash lands like no tomorrow. When you get surrounded by a couple of elites, just a couple of elites, you just basically smash that Petrify button and just go ham for leather. Now, last but not least as well, make sure you pop Earthen Bulwark or keep Earthen Bulwark up as much as you can, because it's very important to keep that buff up and also utilize that buff as well if you're going to go get hit by anything as well. And there's opportunities that you get hit. So as you can see here, I'm just getting Earthen Bulwark to use right away. Now, also as well, you can use number 2, which is the wolf ability, but you're not going to be using that too much. You're just basically going to be dancing around, trying to kill mobs. As you can see, your Fortify building up over and over again. Now, overall as well, if a mob gets close to you, you just want to get away from it. You can use Boulder to just put that mob away. This is very useful for mobs that use So that for mobs that basically have a focus or aura that you want to get rid of, most likely I'm going to tell you right now it's going to be the damage reduction aura that you want to get rid of. Now overall with Landslide as well, so you can see a hit for 116k as well, is that you do want to try and get your Earth Spike out there first, and then get your Landslide down. This allows you to slow enemies and deal the maximum damage you can to your CC with your Landslide, which is very, very important. And yeah, I gotta say right now, that's gonna be pretty much it with the Landslide build. I think another advanced tip that you want to do with the Landslide build as well is whenever you're in a dungeon, especially the Nightmare dungeon, where there's like a lot of hallways and a lot of like, you know, choke points and stuff like that, you want to make sure that you are utilizing those to the full advantage as well. You want to basically funnel a whole bunch of mobs through that little pool as well to ensure that you do the maximum damage. And yeah, that's pretty much with the build, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night. See you guys later. Bye.